So, after all that, a happy ending.
Hey, what is up? So for this video, following the mid-season finale of Better Call Saul entitled Plan and Execution that took place yesterday, I want to discuss a very short 20-second teaser trailer that was released prior to the premiere of Part 2 of Season 6 in 7 weeks from now. So anyway, following the completely unexpected twist at the very end of the previous episode where, spoiler alert, none other than Lalo Salamanca returns to Jimmy and Kim's apartment, who then executes Howard Hamlin, who happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, confronting Jimmy and Kim there, following their scam that ensued over the entire course of this half season. But anyway, following Lalo Salamanca taking out his pistol and shooting Howard Hamlin in the head, and us seeing the absolutely terrified reaction by Jimmy and Kim to this event, Lalo Salamanca then tells Jimmy and Kim to calm down and that they are going to have a talk. And so, following this event that takes place in Jimmy and Kim's apartment, we see in this 20-second teaser a black and white shot of this exact apartment of the exact location of Howard Hamlin's death, with the dialogue overlaid in this scene of Saul Goodman saying, "So, after all of this, a happy ending." And so, following this statement by Saul Goodman and us watching this scene in the previous episode, the question that I have entering the premiere of Part 2 of Season 6 is just how in the world do Jimmy and Kim get out of this situation? Because as we all clearly know from the backstory of Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman is going to become the character that we first met in the second season of Breaking Bad when we saw him interacting with Walter White, the brash, bold, and brazen criminal lawyer whose crass one-liners were the comic relief of this extremely dark series involving Walter White.
Sure, your commercials, they suck ass. But you better act in an epileptic whorehouse.
Is that like the one your mom works at? Is she still offering the 2-for-1 discount?
Sure, she snuck off the reservation to get some dirty, damp, and deep.
On the other hand, my very own PI's threatening to break my legs. That's like Thomas Magnum threatening that little prissy guy with the mustache.
You too. All I can say is if I ever get anal polyps, I'll know what to name them.
And so with Lalo Salamanca being the type of character who has no problem whatsoever as a sort of next level evil genius psychopath of taking out loose ends, following Lalo receiving whatever information he hopes to from Saul and Kim here, I find myself asking why in the world is Lalo Salamanca not going to kill both of these two characters? And in respect to Saul Goodman, it's obvious because of continuity that his death can't happen here in Kim's apartment. But again, because of this, it appears that even after Saul and or Kim tells Lalo any information, Lalo will still seemingly keep them alive for a currently unknown reason. Unlike the character Casper, who following him telling him the information that was implied to us in the cold opening scene of the previous episode, of the location of the industrial laundry being the location which the German workers were working at, it was abundantly clear that Lalo then killed Casper as a loose end following him telling him this information. And so while we know for a fact that Saul is going to get out of this situation, the question then remains what happens to Kim Wexler, where theoretically speaking, I suppose she could meet her demise here in this apartment along with Howard Hamlin. However, and spoiler alert here, based on this behind the scenes fan footage that was taken during the filming of Season 6 of Better Call Saul, where we can see what appears to be Kim Wexler smoking a cigarette outside of the law offices of Saul Goodman and Associates as part of a scene that has not yet taken place. It appears that Kim Wexler will not be meeting her demise here in this apartment. And so while we can truly only speculate on what happens next in respect to what information Lalo wants from Saul and Kim and why he doesn't kill them as loose ends following them giving him this information, what in my opinion is one of the most intriguing aspects of this scene is that despite this unbelievable emotional tragic turmoil of Saul and Kim witnessing the death of Howard Hamlin, a man they both knew during their professional lives as a direct consequence of their actions, despite this, we know for a fact that Saul Goodman will seemingly be able to put this event behind him and go about his initial plan of opening up this law office and helping the Albuquerque criminal underworld, and thus this event won't cause him great emotional distress seemingly in respect to him living the remainder of his professional life. Not to mention that this event really adds a lot of more depth and nuance to statements that Saul Goodman made, such as the statement that he made to Francesca in the episode entitled Quite a Ride. Of this statement, Quite a Ride, to sum up his entire professional life as Saul Goodman.
Well, I guess, that's it. Quite a ride, huh?
Where at the time we had no idea that this story here was a part of this quotation in this episode. Of course, the more open-ended question here in respect to the aftermath of this event is how in the world is this event going to affect Kim Wexler? Because very interestingly, if we go back to season 5 of Better Call Saul in the series finale entitled Something Unforgivable, we hear Jimmy, aka Saul, heed a warning to Kim Wexler about what they were thinking about doing to Howard Hamlin in respect to Jimmy asking Kim, "Are you sure you're going to be okay with what we're doing here, despite whatever consequences may ensue?"
Come on, Kim. We're not talking about a bar trick here. We're talking about scorched earth. We would have to hurt him. Kim, doing this, it's not you. You would not be okay with it. Not in the cold light of day. Wouldn't I?
Where we then hear Kim Wexler state that she is apparently willing to undertake any consequences that may ensue as a result of their actions here against Howard Hamlin. But of course, as I discussed more in depth in a previous video, how Kim Wexler justified her actions against Howard Hamlin as just taking down one lawyer to help many people via her pro bono practice and all of that money that they would get as a result of the sped up Sandpiper Crossing settlement, I definitely can say with absolute certainty that there is no way that she could have ever prepared for an event like this happening as a result of their plan.
Kim, you're shitting me, right?
And truly, the statement where Jimmy says to Kim when they're overlooking their post-it notes on the back of their painting, which was the planning board for this scheme against Howard Hamlin, where Jimmy states to Kim, "We didn't miss anything."
We didn't miss anything.
In hindsight, this excessive pride here and overconfidence definitely seems akin to the Greek parable of Hubris, of someone undertaking an event with extreme pride and overconfidence, and this definitely appeared to cause Jimmy and Kim to overestimate their confidence in their plan and made them overlook this unbelievable contingency of Lalo Salamanca still being out there, which of course Kim Wexler knew all along and decided to not disclose to Saul Goodman following this information being revealed to her by Mike Ehrmantraut in the episode entitled Hit and Run.
Lalo Salamanca.
Lalo Salamanca's dead. He isn't.
Most likely he'll never reach out. He's got bigger fish to fry. But in the 1,000 to 1 chance that he does.
And as a result of this, Jimmy and Kim are now forced to deal with the consequences of this hubris, which is of course completely exemplified by the fact that this painting, which was the board that they used for their plan, was in the end covered with Howard Hamlin's blood. Like I said, a contingency that they did not plan for. So yeah, with all that being said, again, I have no idea what's going to happen here with Kim Wexler and how she is going to sort of deal with the consequences of what just happened in her apartment. Again, it is kind of hard to speculate on this until we also see the aftermath of what happens here in respect to Lalo's conversation and in respect to what Lalo does to Saul and Kim following this conversation and what is done in respect to the fact that Howard Hamlin is deceased in the middle of their living room with his car likely parked in the parking lot of their apartment complex. A lot of unknown questions here, but in the grand scheme of things, despite Kim Wexler really saying that she would be okay with whatever happened as a result of this scam, her unbelievable hubris here has really come back to bite her for sure, and I just don't know how she is going to be able to rationalize this event and continue to live her life in the same manner that Saul Goodman apparently is going to be able to do, as we know from the backstory of Breaking Bad. But in the end, maybe we're not giving Kim Wexler enough credit here, and maybe she will be able to rationalize what happens here to Howard Hamlin, though it's hard to square that circle at this moment in time. But when all is said and done, just sort of in wrapping up here, this storyline that ensued over the course of this half season really made me think back to the statement that Charles McGill made to his brother Jimmy in season 1 of Better Call Saul in the episode entitled Pimento, and the warning he heeded to his brother Jimmy in respect to him toying with the law.
I know what you were, what you are. People don't change. You're Slippin' Jimmy. And Slippin' Jimmy I can handle just fine, but Slippin' Jimmy with a law degree is like a chimp with a machine gun. The law is sacred. If you abuse that power, people get hurt. This is not a game. You have to know on some level, I know you know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Alright, that is all I really got for you guys on this one. Again, really can't wait to see what happens here in respect to the storyline during the premiere of Part 2 of Season 6 of Better Call Saul. So many unknown, open-ended questions here in respect to what information Lalo wants from Saul Goodman and why he doesn't kill Saul and likely Kim as well following this conversation they have here, despite the fact that Lalo is definitely someone who likes to tie up loose ends. And definitely questions that we'll have 7 long weeks to ruminate on prior to the premiere of Part 2 of Season 6. Additionally, also thank you very much to everyone who watches and comments on these videos. I really appreciate it. Also really appreciate everyone who has subscribed to this channel as well. The support really means a lot. It's definitely going to be a long 7 weeks and absolutely cannot wait to see how the storyline continues then. And as always, my name is Anton Jackson. Thank you again so much for watching this video.